Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
I recognize there will be those who disagree with the sentence that I granted a significant downward departure does not in any way diminish Dante Wright's life. His life mattered. And to those who disagree and feel a longer prison sentence is appropriate, as difficult as it may be, please try to empathize with Ms. Potter's situation. As President Barack Obama once said, learning to stand in somebody else's shoes, to see through their eyes, that's how peace begins. And it's up to you to make that happen. Empathy is a quality of character that can change the world.
Hello, America. You're now tuned in, you're now rocking with, you're now vibing with the Black Alpha Network. So pull you up a chair, sit back, relax, kick back, drink you some, smoke you some, meditate, whatever it is that you do. Just make sure you roll with us and smash that subscribe, bang them notifications, like, comment, share with every real one you know, because we on that real wave. Be one. Today, we're going to talk about the NOalition, the minority NOalition, not coalition, not something that's real, not something that actually exists, something that's tangible, something you can see, touch, or feel. No. We're going to talk about a NOalition, which is some fake bullshit that does not exist. Nobody can account for it. Nobody can atone for it. Nobody can point a finger to it. Nobody can show you any evidence of its existence except for in the minds of a bunch of coon-ass motherfuckers. That's it. Because this is something that needs to be talked about. It's something that needs to be spoken of. So we're going to talk about it and we're going to speak about it. As a matter of fact, it's something that needs to be beating motherfuckers' head. And it's something people need to really realize and wake the fuck up to. Now us, B1, we awoke to it. But then again, we awoke to every motherfucking thing. But everybody else who's sleeping, we about to 7 a.m. they ass. Wake them the fuck up. Because there's nothing more pathetic than being in a group that doesn't exist. I mean, that's a fucking oxymoron. Straight up. You're in a group that don't exist. This is how pathetic the coon slave Sambo mentality is that a motherfucker can literally live in a fantasy world. These motherfuckers can check out of reality and check themselves into fantasy and Disneyland anytime they want to. Anytime. And that's the ridiculous, pathetic shit that you see every single day, anytime a minority NOalition is even fucking mentioned. And it's only there to exist to exploit foundational Black Americans. They have terms and they have fake non-existent groups with the sole design just to steal from Black folks. That's it. Quite frankly, Black people are in a relationship that another motherfucker ain't even in it with them. It's like the woman who thinks she's dating a man and he got 7 motherfucking girlfriends and she waiting for him to call, he never calls. She waiting for him to come home, he never comes home. She waiting for him to be nice, be faithful, he never is. That's what Black people are in. They're in a fucking relationship with all these other groups that are never there for them, don't ride for them, don't fuck with them, don't deal with them, don't want to even stand next to them. But yet you still got some unwavering love for these motherfuckers. Ain't that much slave mentality on earth to be rocking with a motherfucker who don't rock for you. This is just nature. Malcolm X said it best. He said self-defense ain't a matter of morality or ethics. Self-defense is a matter of intelligence. It's nature, okay? That ain't a matter of morals and ethical code. No, it's intelligent. You ain't in no motherfucking group with somebody who ain't in it with you. And I understand the motherfuckers always gonna go through the door of stupidity opposed to go through the door of intelligence. But once again, we're gonna wake these motherfuckers up. And you gotta understand the whole design of it, and you gotta understand the way this shit functions. The functionality of it is corrupt by nature. You know what I mean? It's raggedy by nature. And when you can exploit a mentality of people who want to be next to somebody, who want to be with somebody and have no self-worth, this shit goes on over and over and over again. And I always say this, my motto is this: if a coon want a coon, go and do that shit over there. But the problem is that we are all in the same motherfucking circle. And these motherfuckers cooning, these motherfuckers tap dancing, samboing, and butter biscuit chasing, all has an effect on us. It has an effect on Black people who have no entertainment value for that shit. You know what I'm saying? We ain't out here trying to chase that shit. So why the fuck do we gotta deal with a motherfucker or have our future hijacked by a motherfucker who wants to be in the butter biscuit team, who wants to chase after motherfuckers who don't love them, who wants to be like somebody else? This is why, as we always say, this is separation 2000s. Wait, we separating down the line. Back in the motherfucking day where everybody had to be on the same team and all black folks was just one big old group, fuck that. Separation is key. This is separation season. If you ain't separating from the bad vibes, the bad energies, and these sorry motherfuckers, then you gonna get left behind. Every single day you see motherfuckers say, we need to get the toxic people out of our life. Let the toxicity go. I had toxic friends, I blocked them. You know, black folks run around all day long and pride themselves on blocking people out their phone, canceling motherfuckers, not calling people back, rejecting their phone calls. But when it comes to these coons, they don't never do that shit. How the fuck we live in a community where motherfuckers cancel and block each other's calls all damn day, but we can't block a motherfucking coon for 400, 500 fucking years? You know what I'm saying? Start using that same petty ass energy that you use with your cell phone. Start using that shit with your fucking community and your society, and we be somewhere. Well, if these motherfuckers don't want to get to it, then we gonna get to it. And they don't want to do it, then we gonna do it. They don't want to step to the motherfucking plate, we gonna step to the fucking plate. So all these people in these minority NOalitions and all these motherfuckers running around here trying to be affiliated with groups that don't even accept them, that don't even see them as a third, fourth class citizen. They see you as non-existent. So if you want to be down on that motherfucking side, then what we gonna do? We gonna do what we always do right here on Certified Black Society. We gonna put that line right in the motherfucking sand and say, y'all over there, we over here. Two different groups. And it all starts with rejecting, regulating these motherfucking minority NOalition people. Oh, and by the way, all my race regulators, mount the fuck up, because we about to regulate. Yes, indeed. So we got to understand how in America, they create terms and they create words and they create groups just to exploit black people. Just exploit them. These people have no type of desire to be next to black people. Another one of my principles is they want to stand away from black people socially, but they want to stand next to us politically. And you got to understand why they do that. You see, socially, it's don't bring that black person to my house. Don't walk through my yard, black man. Don't go to school with black folks. Don't bring home a black person. They don't want nothing to do with us socially. That's clear, that's evident. But when it comes to political shit, they understand we the only motherfuckers who get shit popping. Our whole political agenda, our whole political apparatus has been us getting it out the mud, taken to the fucking streets. We've never been able to actually go get political achievements the political passageway that everyone else takes. Everyone else takes the system and they utilize the system. We know the system is against us. We already know that. You're not gonna see a black person sitting in Washington, D.C. getting a fucking law signed for him. You're not gonna see it. You're not gonna see us petitioning politicians and getting some type of law made or getting policies created for us. That does not work. Even when black people have done that, it's been shunned, outcast, ignored, benign neglect. So what has black people always done in this country? We done took to the motherfucking streets and we done had to put pressure on them. Black people operate off of pressure politics, which means we go out to the motherfucking street, we kick up some motherfucking dust, we scare these motherfuckers, and then they give us what we want. That's it. That's the only way black people have ever achieved anything in this country. That's it. Slavery was because black folks put in that goddamn work. Civil rights era, black folks put in that goddamn work. Reconstruction, we put in that goddamn work. And right now, we got to put in this motherfucking work. That is it. So anybody who's running around here thinking we're going to do things throughout the system, that shit has never existed. Hey, check this out. And even if you do it through the system, you're still going to have some type of backing in the streets. Every other group, they don't have to use the streets. They can just go and put on a motherfucking suit and get a pen and pad and go to Washington, D.C. and do it the proper way. Now, we can do that. Yes, we can. We can do it the proper way. But if we do it the proper way, we better bring a motherfucking army with us. And we better have some riders with us. We better have some B1 FBA don't give a fuck with us. Because that's the only thing they respect. That's the only language they understand when it comes to us. They don't understand black folks putting on suits and trying to get a policy passed. They don't respect black folks trying to put up their hand and ask questions. That's what they want us to do. Because once they get us in the political system, they can stall us for 100 motherfucking years. And they can come up with all these reasons why it's okay for them to stall us. Put it this way. They can come up with reasons why it's okay to harm a black person and pop them in the back while they run it. Well, you know, he ran because the state law says if you turn your back to a 45-degree angle, they have the right to take you down and out. If they can come up with justifications on why they can take out kids, you know damn well they can come up with justifications on why they can't give us things politically, why we can't get policies passed. They'll run that game on us all the motherfucking time. So the only language that they understand is us taking to the motherfucking block. And I ask this question, I ask it to everybody. Have you seen black people achieve more politically or in the streets? Have you seen black folks achieve more through policy or in the streets? Have you seen black folks achieve more Going the proper way, or have you seen black folks achieving more by going the street way? The very fact that you gotta take to the streets, and we've had to riot for 400 motherfucking years, is because we're not allowed to do it the political way. You don't just wake up one morning and say, man, we're gonna go to the streets and have a riot, y'all. Let's go have a fucking march or a rally. You don't just wake up and do that. You only do that when you've exhausted every single option and every single option has failed. That is the only time you take to the streets. Black people in America only take to the streets because they do not allow us to play the fair way. They don't allow us to play the political game. The political game is met with benign neglect, bullshit, lies, deception, deceit, everything. So therefore we say, well, if you ain't gonna do it this way, then we going that way. And then when we go that way, and they see us get together and mound the fuck up and race regulate, then they come back to the table and say, okay, let's make a law. The civil rights law and all that shit, man, that shit wasn't passed because Dr. King had no motherfucking dream and none of that shit. Man, the Civil Rights Act, that shit was passed because you had motherfuckers riding in the street and they was standing 10 toes down and they was regulating motherfuckers. That's what got laws passed. Straight up and down. Same thing with slavery. Black folks wasn't freed because Abraham Lincoln was some nice motherfucker. Hell no. That shit was freed because black folks was out here in the military saving the Union, and they armed black people, and they knew after the war they couldn't get those arms back from black people. And the same motherfucker that was picking cotton, now you just gave him straps and you know you couldn't get it back. Everything we've ever achieved in this country has been by taking it to the motherfucking streets. Straight up and down, don't let nobody tell you different. Like I said, I'm all for doing it the proper way, but if you don't do the proper way with some type of backing behind it, you ain't doing nothing. You need muscle for everything, especially us people who are under siege and we're TOWs, targets of W supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't have no type of muscle behind you and backing, your ass is done. So if you want to go get a suit on, that's cool. Get 15 motherfuckers to do the suit thing, but you better have 35 motherfuckers behind them who do the street thing. And we got to hold each other down in that mentality. And that is why they created terms like the minority NOalition and people of color NOalition and all these fucking groups, because they're designed and they're designated to stand away from us socially, stand next to us politically. And whenever those other groups fail and they can't get something done, they look to us in the streets and say, well, we'll let black folks be out there, give blood, sweat, and tears and be harmed so they can get a policy made. And every time they get that policy made, we'll swoop in like fucking vultures and take what they created. Oh yeah. Every group that comes to this country knows. Let black folks do the rioting. Why you think you don't never see them next to us when it comes to the riots? When you look at the marches, those marches be 99.9% black folks. These motherfuckers pretend that they're with us, but they don't be with us. You can go right now, go look. The marches happen every motherfucking year. I'll tell you right now, next year there'll be another black child that will be harmed for no fucking reason, and black folks will be out there in the streets protesting. And guess what? Those other groups will be at home in the comfort of their house, sitting that shit out on purpose, and just waiting for the benefits of our protests. That's how the game is played. We protest, we march, we rally, and then we get a policy made based on being in the street. And before that policy gets handed to us, here come the vultures, swoop, and they come in and they take whatever we created. That's why they stand next to us politically. They don't want nothing to do with us in real life. They want everything to do with the benefits that we create. Every single policy that we've created has been us taken to the streets, and every single policy that minorities have benefited from have been because black folks took to the streets. Black folks taken to the streets gave immigration laws. Black folks taken to the streets have gave people civil rights laws. Black people taken to the streets have got other motherfucking groups reparations. None of this has ever came to us. None of it has. And the problem that black folks make is when they take to the fucking streets, instead of saying, we are here for this reason. This is the motherfucking agenda. You ain't do this, this is what we want. Black folks will go out in the streets, and then here come all the other groups saying, yeah, we with y'all. Standing next to us politically. Yeah, we with y'all. And then they'll lock arms with us and they'll kick their motherfucking legs with us. And instead of black folks saying, this riot, this march, and this protest is brought to you by and only for foundational black Americans. And whatever policy is for us only. Black folks don't do that. They don't do that. We'll go out in the streets and we'll be the motherfuckers on the front line getting harmed just so we can get a motherfucking law passed. And when we get that law passed, we say, oh, this is for everybody. This is for that group, that group, that group. So the same group that did not want to stand next to you socially, the same group that said we're going to stand over there, we're going to stay at home when black folks is out there protesting, we're going to call them all types of names, that same group, they show up and say, yeah, that protest was for us too. We stand in solidarity with y'all. That's why you always see them there with, I stand in solidarity with you. But how come you don't stand with me at school? How come you don't stand with me where you live? How come you don't stand with me at the job? You only show up with a solidarity sign. You notice that? They're always sending 5 motherfuckers out of their million fucking people group, and 5 of them will have a solidarity sign, and that's the extent. Those people are only there to be pawns, so they can come in and make it look like that they're down for us, to give the optical illusion that they were there the whole time. I seen one black person saying, man, some Indians was there at our rally. No, motherfucker, 3 Indians was there. And black folks having that slave mentality took 3 Indians and tried to apply it to the whole goddamn race. Y'all remember the Man March? There was like 2 people came there with some Indian garb on. And black folks was talking about how they was represented well. No, the fuck they wasn't. They was only there to give you the fucking illusion that they're down for you. Because when the paycheck come in, they can say, we was with y'all. And black folks fall for that shit. So after we go out in the streets, after we get harmed, after we protest, we march and we rally, and then the politician says, okay, all right, black folks, I know y'all about that life. Let me write this law because y'all done took to the streets. Here you go. This law, this law, this law. Then comes in that vulture from the minority NOalition, and he takes it and says, thanks, black folks. Glad you shared with us. Oh, by the way, we're going to take this for ourselves, and y'all keep on protesting and rioting. We going to go home and sit down. Minority NOalition. Now, we get the minority NOalition. The one that's fake is non-existent. They get the minority coalition. There's 2 different groups. The minority NOalition, that's just a fucking term that allows tethers to eat off of black Americans' plates. The minority coalition is the minorities who come over here and they all get on code with the dominant society. They're all honorary members of the dominant society, sick dogs from the dominant society. That's why in that Kimberly Potter case, the judge was on code. She knew what to do. Same was the judge in the Peter Liane case up there in New York. He got on code. All these tethers who come from these different countries, they get on dominant society code real quick. You're basically just dealing with a supremacist with a different language. That's it, but they all on code. Every one of them. The ones who work in the hair salons, the nail salons, the gas stations. I don't give a fuck if you came from the east, from the west, you came from the south, you came from the north. It don't matter what country you came from. When you step in foundational black American land, you get on code with the dominant society. And then you start acting like them. You know, anytime a black person comes in front of you and you have some type of authority, you treat them the same way that the W would. You know, anytime you encounter a black person in public, you treat them the same way the W would. You know, anytime you see a black person walking down the street, you treat them the same way the W would. Because these minority coalitions is a coalition between the tethers and the dominant society. The minority NOalition is the tether in the dominant society trying to hustle us. That's what it's all about. But just like everybody else, B1, we see their ass and we exposing them. You see, they try to run the humanity game on black people. None of these other people run the humanity game. They don't abide by that. They abide by what's theirs is theirs, and they want what's theirs, and you can't have what's theirs, and me, right? That's how the world operates. We're the only ones that try to make us emotional, and we always gotta go high. When they go low, we go high. No, I go with mine. That's what I do. And I go hard for mine too. Which means you can take whatever the fuck you want. You can run around here and try to serve humanity and ethics and morals, because this has nothing to do with that. This is about intelligence, and this is about representing your own, holding down your own team, holding down your own tribe. And every time I look around, shit, I got too many beautiful foundational black Americans to worry about than to be giving anything to anybody else. Hey, y'all know what I'm about to say. Right here on the Black Alpha Network. This is our motherfucking motto. Y'all say this the next time someone says something out of line. Y'all make sure people say this. Say it as much as you fucking want. But it always goes like this. Nope, you can't borrow what's ours because we too busy being black. Nope, you can't take what's ours because we too busy being black. And fuck no, you can't have our reparations because we too busy being black. Say it loud. Damn, it feel good to be certified. Shit. Hey, it's good to win every time. And when you certify black, you woke up winning. They got this shit down packed. The same way you have the system of supremacy, you have all the other little minions who practice anti-black racism, and they got their own agenda. They got their own little backdoor, backhanded, undermined ways to steal our shit. I was going through the internet and I was looking at a bunch of old stories and a bunch of old articles, and time after time and time again, I kept seeing these articles of minority groups that denounce police brutality against black people, or minority groups that stand side by side with Black Lives Matter. Now, you know, if somebody says they stand side by side with Black Lives Matter, you already know they're full of shit, because Black Lives Matter is full of shit. But the reason they do that is so they can always play the solidarity card. They could always whip that shit out and say, I stand in solidarity. But you called us the N-word. Nope, solidarity. But you followed us through the store all day. Nope, solidarity. But no, you beat up our women at a fucking hair salon. Nope, solidarity. They always use that. The term solidarity is the most fraudulent term in the American language. Don't ever trust anybody who says solidarity. You know we FBA, we B1. If we say we fucks with you, we fucks with you. I ride with you, I rock with you. You my friend, you my partner, I got your back. We ain't gotta use no fucking terms like solidarity. I'm not gonna call my brother up and say, hey bro, you know I stand in solidarity with you. I don't say, all right mom, I love you. I stand in solidarity with you. We don't say that shit. We say we build together. We ride the same wave. We be one family. This my team. What up, fam? That's how we talk. We don't say fucking solidarity. Get the fuck out of here. Anybody who's got to use that word, they have to use it so they can confuse you and they can hide. A good snake always has to have a good cloak of secrecy. A good snake always has to have camouflage. They always got to be out of sight. Don't ever use that term. And if any motherfucker comes around and they say solidarity, let that be a flag word. Anytime that shit pops up, I already know who you dealing with. You got to know your motherfucking enemy, your adversary, your foe. And your foe, your enemy, and your adversary will show themselves. Cut the grass low so the snakes will show. This shit ain't hard. This shit ain't hard. These motherfuckers may act like they can't figure it out. Man, we got this shit all figured out. We got it all figured out. We know the telltale signs of a motherfucker who's lying, who's trying to only utilize us for their own personal gain so they can get their community built up based off the backs of us. And if you look at it, Black Americans are still living the slavery lifestyle. You can draw parallels between slavery and now. It's the same exact thing. Black people do the heavy lifting and the hard labor and everyone else benefits. Tell me, how has that changed? Has that changed in the 21st century? Ladies and gentlemen, B1 team, has that shit changed? Fuck no. Only thing that changed is the names. Only thing that changed is the motherfucking weather. Period. Point blank. Black people still out here going in the streets and getting laws passed for other motherfuckers to come in and benefit from. That's no different than black folks going out in the field and picking cotton for other motherfuckers to benefit from. It's the same shit. Either we're doing things for W society or we're doing things for the minions of W society, but either way, we're not getting the benefits off of our hard work. Straight up and down. The same way a motherfucker said, Master loves me. He's on my team, and Master was only using you for your labor. That's the same way motherfuckers say, I stand in solidarity with the black community. It's the same shit. They ain't really down for you. Not at all. Like I was saying, I was seeing a bunch of articles and it said, this group stands by Black Lives Matter, and this group stands by black folks, and this group is tired of police brutality against black people. After the George Floyd situation, you've seen all types of articles, you've seen all types of news segments about these other groups that were standing with us. Y'all remember that shit. You see it every single time. When Breonna Taylor was harmed, Sandra Bland was harmed, Freddie Gray, Alta Sterling. Every time you've seen this shit, you've seen somebody coming out saying how they stand in solidarity. But when you look around, you don't actually see this with your eyes. You don't see this shit in real life. Walk out your motherfucking door and you don't see this. This shit only exists on paper. It only exists in a fucking article because they have to give you the perception of brotherhood. Ain't no motherfucking brotherhood. These motherfuckers don't stand with us. They have a brotherhood with each other. We have a brotherhood with our own. But what does not happen is they don't have one with black folks. Fuck no. And they gotta rely on news articles and these fake ass press clippings to make it seem like they got our motherfucking back. So when it comes down, they know what they can get from us. Trust me. They know how to make it seem like they're our friends. They know how to make it seem like they got our backs through thick and thin. No, the fuck they don't. They only do that shit so they can reap the benefits. They don't mind sending out 3 or 4 motherfuckers to play buddy buddy. They don't mind that shit. I mean, what's 3 or 4 motherfuckers to 3 or 4 or 5 million? What's 3 or 4 motherfuckers to 50 million? They don't mind these motherfuckers say, hey, y'all go out there, y'all hang out with them black folks, make it look like you got their back, make it look like you stand with them through their struggle, do all that shit. Because when all the benefits and shit come down, we'll be the ones to reap it. That's what they do it for. That's what they do it for. That's why they'll send 1 or 2 motherfuckers to our rallies or 2 or 3 motherfuckers to our protests. And then remember, the people who come to our protests, they don't hold no weight in their communities anyway. These people are the rejects of their community. They not sending no big heavy hitters out there. Fuck no. Fuck no. It's all smoke and mirrors, fam. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all one big motherfucking game. And everybody on this earth knows that black folks have a buddy complex. And black folks just want to be accepted. The same way that us in B1 society understands the slave mentality and how motherfuckers can exploit that, these other groups know that shit. They know all you gotta do is smile at a black person and a black person sell out their whole fucking community. They know all you gotta do is shake hands with a black person, tell them that you like them, and black folks will believe any fucking thing. Everybody knows black folks got a buddy complex. And all they do is exploit that shit time and time again, over and over and over. And that shit's been going on for years. And how do you know it's some bullshit? Because every motherfucker out here knows that these other groups are anti-black. These other groups have been anti-black before America existed. Think about that. When you talk about people coming in from other countries to America, ask yourself how old these other countries are. These other countries dwarf the United States of America in terms of existence. These other countries had anti-black racism before America existed. Now, y'all all know how many slaves from the transatlantic slave trade came here to the United States. Everybody knows, 3%. Okay, but if we only got 3% of those slaves, and then their slaves were there 200 years before ours, then how long were they anti-black before America ever existed? So if they have a longer history of anti-blackness, they have a more harsh history of anti-blackness, what the fuck makes you think they're gonna come over here and be buddies? That's basically thinking the guy across the street has been across the street for 20 years hating your ass, but when he comes to your side of the street, he's gonna be your friend. It makes zero motherfucking sense. When people come here from every single continent, all they're doing is bringing anti-black racism with them. And they bringing that old anti-black racism that existed before America. This is why people got to get their game right, and they got to understand global anti-blackness. Anti-blackness is a global system. Now, it's easy to fall victim to just what's in front of you and the primary focus, which is living here today, because we got our own fish to fry right here in the United States. I know about United States racism, and I know about South America racism. I know about Asian racism. I know about European racism, and yes, I know about African foundational Black American racism. Because remember, that's a new term. We're going to have to start saying anti-black racism, and then there's also foundational Black American racism, which is racism done and perpetrated by other black people who are not foundational Black American against foundational Black Americans. That's another exclusive group. So as you look around and you do a whole motherfucking circle, you are surrounded with anti-blackness. So if you're surrounded by anti-blackness, it would behoove you to sit there with pom-poms and say, come on in, come to the motherfucking country, bring all that shit with you. All you're doing when you support these groups, you're supporting a bunch of other motherfuckers who's gonna call you the N-word in a different language. That's it. That's it. That's it. Any motherfucker don't want to hear it, we hate to break it to them. We hate to break it to them, but y'all know, certified Black society, we don't give a fuck. We say it how it is and how it need to be said. And that's why you get the minority NOalition. You have people who bring over anti-black racism from their countries. You have people who bring over ancient anti-black racism from their countries. And when they get over here, they snuggle up next to the dominant society, and then they practice what I call tag team anti-black racism. That's where the W has his version of anti-black racism, and then the minority has their version of anti-black racism. And the minority has to get cool points and brownie points by coming down on black folks. Now, the minority don't give a damn how the W treats them. The W could come around this motherfucker and slap them all over the place, and they'll act like it never happened. They'll just blame us for it. That's kind of the theme, right? This is what you see when you deal with the minority NOalition. The minority NOalition gets harmed by the dominant society, and then they blame us for what the dominant society did to them. We could be over there at our own motherfucking barbecue, our own motherfucking party, kicking it, staying in our own bubble. And the motherfucker gonna blame us for what the dominant society did for them. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You see it every day. How many times have you seen a member of the dominant society harm a minority group, and the minority group blames us for what the dominant society did to them? You see it all the time. What they say, shit rolls downhill. That's exactly how they do it. The dominant society will come up on them and attack them for whatever reason. And they'll stand up and say, the blacks did it. And they know goddamn well it wasn't us. They know goddamn well it wasn't. But see, they don't want to call out the dominant society for a multitude of reasons. One is because they love the dominant society. The same way black Sambos love the dominant society, so do these minorities. And two, they want to get brownie points. And I always say it, they have an agenda when they get here. They fall in suit. They say, what is America known for? America is known for dominant society, anti-black racism. And they say, well, in order to get in good favor of the dominant society, I must come down on black people. So they come over here and they say, I attack black people like you. You attack black people, so do I. I don't mind if you call me bad name. I don't mind if you don't treat me good. That's okay, but just don't treat me like black man. Don't treat me like black. Black in my country is bad. I do anything. I call him N-word. I call him bad name. I talk bad about him. I kick his kids out the store. Just so you love me. Love me, W man. Love me, dominant society. I'll say anything to the black man if you just accept me. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, motherfucking real. I went there. Because y'all know damn well, like we know damn well, that's exactly what happens. They plead with the dominant society Trust me and love me, and I'll do anything to black folks. And this is the minority NOalition that people think exists? Listen to everything we just fucking said is one big fucking circle jerk. Think about it. You have black folks who have a buddy complex who want to be accepted by minorities. You have minorities who want to be accepted by the dominant society. And then you have the dominant society who sicks the minorities on black people. You got anti-black racism, ancient anti-black racism, tap dancing, snakes, jackals, hyenas, stealing our shit, sit back, watch, every motherfucking thing that you could think of. And us B1s, we over here just watching it, calling the shit all the fuck out, because we got all the answers. Yes, we motherfucking do. We gonna be real conceited with that shit too. Trust me, FBA B1 Certified Black Society, we got the motherfucking answers. That's why we got the biggest stack of race receipts. Ain't a motherfucking thing that we call out in this system that does not come true. We sit back and we watch this shit happen. We predict it. It's like Vegas with the motherfucking dice. We throwing them bitches 3 at a time. You feel me? We know how the game goes and we observe it. We observe it and we watch it very carefully. We know these other groups try to hustle and con black folks, and we know how the dominant society feels about everybody that they deem underneath them. But it's a circle and it goes on and on and on and on. And that's why we're here to regulate. That's why we're here to wake these motherfuckers up. And the only way you handle that is by being true to FBA. If you represent FBA, you plant that flag and you wear that banner, that solves everything. Motherfuckers always say, what's the solution? I'll tell you the first solution. The first solution is representing your team. Being a foundational black American, screaming that shit, repping that shit, throwing your set in the motherfucking sky. That is where you can start. You want a real solution? Rep yourself. Self-identity is the #1 solution, especially for our people who have always been tagged with a name that we don't even claim. We've never named ourselves until this era, and we've been down this road before right here on the Black Alpha Network. Please subscribe to the channel by the motherfucking way. We've been down this road all the time. We speak about how foundational black American self-identifying has been the biggest accomplishment of this era. Think about it. We've never self-identified for 400 motherfucking years until now. Self-identification on our behalf is a relatively new thing. We've accomplished something. A lot of people don't know that. They think we just foundational black Americans, cool, da 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 da. You don't understand the historical ramifications of that. We have never self-identified on a level like this right here. That is a game changer. That'd be like being 40 years old and you never had a fucking name. Or you had a name and it's something that everyone other than your parents gave you. And one day you finally named yourself. Oh, you done changed the motherfucking game when you did that. And you done pissed some motherfuckers off. And that's exactly what we've done. And that is the first step to a solution. Once you self-identify, you got everything lined up in your favor. And that's what we have done. And how do you know? Because other groups used to come in and they used to exploit the phantom people, the African Americans. Well, who the fuck is an African American? And they would take things off our plate and steal from us because we didn't know who we were. We couldn't even settle on a fucking name. If you can't settle on a name, expect people to steal from you. Expect people to take what's yours. But now when we say, don't touch that, leave it alone. When you walk past the dollhouse, leave me the bone. Rest in peace, DMX. And that's the realest shit we've ever done is we done self-identified. Because you gotta also know this. All these other people, these tethers who come to this country, the minority NOalition, the people of color NOalition, they all come from a country where they can dominate black people. Oh yeah, they're not used to how we get down. They encounter a black person who's completely different as soon as they step in these borders. When they leave these borders, they deal with a lot of subservient, defeated, inferior acting, slave-minded motherfuckers. But when they come here, they deal with a bunch of B1 riders. And they're not used to black people standing up. They're not used to black people standing for what's theirs. They're not used to black folks who about that motherfucking life. If you go there, we gonna take it there. They're not used to us. This version of blackness is a whole different game to them. This is like another motherfucking world. It's like they're on a different planet. Being a foreigner and coming to America and comparing the black people from their foreign countries to the black people right here in the USA, that's like leaving the United States and going to fucking Jupiter. You in a whole different atmosphere. They're used to being able to talk to black people however they want and black folks can't do nothing. They're used to disrespecting black folks in public and black folks can't do nothing. They're used to having systems set in place where the darker you are, the more your ass get treated bad. Oh yeah, all the motherfucking countries. All my intelligent black people know what the fuck we talking about. We ain't here to play games. Like Paul Mooney said, it's the 11th motherfucking hour. The games is done. We here to kick the whole truth, nothing but the motherfucking truth. And if anybody don't like the truth, they can see the motherfucking dough. Cause that's how we roll. They are used to talking to black people who have no sense of pride, have no history, have no heritage. And even if they do have history or heritage, it is completely oppressed in their countries. When they come here, they're dealing with people who represent their own lineage, people who represent their own heritage, their own culture, their own traditions, their own practices, their own family, their own team. And that's why FBA has changed the motherfucking game. And they hate that shit. That's why they gotta resort to little sneak snake motherfucking tactics when they encounter us, because they know they cannot see us face to face. Over in their countries, they can just run up on black folks and bust them across the fucking head. They know that shit ain't never worked here in America. Even when black folks was enslaved, they would still revolt. And don't even get me started on the civil rights era. All that shit is documented. You wasn't running up on folks in Oakland. You ain't running up on folks in Oakland today. You wasn't running up on folks in Maryland then. You ain't running up on folks in Maryland now. You ain't running up on folks in Florida and Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, all through the motherfucking West Coast. You ain't running up on no foundational black American unless you want the smoke, because you know we bring that shit. We gonna barbecue in this bitch. And this is why they got to go to little sneaky things like solidarity, allies, try to steal our shit, because they're used to dealing with a black person that they can get off on. They can't get off on us. Can't do it. Cannot do it. And that is the biggest culture shock they deal with when they step foot right here in the land that foundational black Americans built. So they got to go to the scamming, to the hustling, to all the tricks. Now, if the minority NOalition is all based on hustling and scamming, then who do you think they want to go team up with? They gonna go team up with the biggest hustlers and scammers, the liberal, the Democratic Party. The Democrats base their whole apparatus on hustling and tricking black people. So therefore, them and the minorities, they get together and then they come after black folks with all these con games. The liberals basically spotted them, said we want to replace black folks with y'all because once again, we don't play them games and we're the only people who have consistently fought W supremacy. And when they deal with all these other groups, the other groups do what I said back in the day. They try to coddle next to W supremacy. So it's simple mathematics. If you're part of the dominant society, you're thinking this: why don't we try to replace these foundational black Americans who have been a headache for us for 400 years because they won't sit down, because they won't just take an L, because they won't go quiet? Why don't we just try to replace foundational black Americans with a bunch of POCs that'll do anything we tell them to do? It's simple mathematics. So the dominant society and the minority NOalition, they team up and they create words that are inclusive, that mean everybody. So AKA, if it's for foundational black Americans, we'll make it go to everybody else. Black people gotta share. But when it's for those other groups, we'll make it exclusive and specific. They created a system to where these other groups can get things solely for self, and foundational black Americans have to spread it around to everyone else. That was created by the liberal. And Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about this years ago. So basically, in essence, black Americans vote for the Democratic Party, and then the Democratic Party gives all the tangibles and benefits that belong to black Americans, including reparations, to the minorities. Oh yeah, and it leaves black Americans diluted with nothing. Like we said, we've had scholars talking about this since the 1970s. Damn right. And they do all this based on fake brotherhood, fake terms, fake words, and fake unity. And once again, the buddy complex of your typical average everyday Sambo falls victim to this. And you see them try to always slide their way in. They always use terms like ally. Let's throw ally out there. Ally, solidarity, all these fake motherfucking terms that give the false perception of unity. Black folks eat that shit up. Eat it up. And these other groups is laughing. You ever notice one thing? They don't ever come out and genuinely support black people. Oh no. If it's supposed to be allies and solidarities, all they do is throw up a fucking sign. I seen someone say it before. They said it's gonna have to come down to where your ally does more than just hold up a motherfucking sign. See, I'm a little different. And I think B1 Society Certified Black, we a little different. I don't just hold a motherfucking high regard because they threw up a sign and said, hey, I'm your friend. I hold my friends to a higher standard, and I want my friends to hold me to a higher standard. A motherfucker ain't really down for you unless they done put in work for you. They done roll with you. They done been in the trenches with you. They done been there through thick and thin. Your road dog, your day one, your ace. Y'all know how it go. We all got somebody that done roll with us to the fullest. That's a friend. That's an ally. That's your motherfucking solidarity. Not a motherfucker who just walked up and threw up a sign and then walked right the fuck home. Don't deal with you in any other aspect of your life, but they'll show up here, there, there. That's called a photo op. That's a photo op. They come for them photo ops. Just how a celebrity will show up for a photo op and get on a fucking private plane and fly home, it's the same way these other groups do. They show up to our rallies, they take a fucking photo op, and then they go home and say, look, I was on your side. Then as soon as you turn your back, they calling you every motherfucking name in the book. Every name in the book. And then they try to weasel themselves in to all the policies that are ours. Your motherfucking friends don't do that. Your friends don't do that. You ain't never had a friend pull up and say, hey man, your paycheck is my paycheck. I should get half of your paycheck. That's what they doing. These minorities are out here literally trying to include themselves in Black American policies. We don't do that shit. You ain't never seen no foundational Black American try to weasel our way into other people's lives, try to take money off of other people, or try to take someone else's policy or someone else's tangibles. No, we say that's theirs, this is ours. These groups are always out here advocating why they should get our shit. How low do you got to fucking be if you're out here literally trying to take someone else's fucking money? You feel me? These allies never support our causes. They never say that policies belong to FBA. When was the last time you seen any minority NOalition motherfucker say, hey man, that ain't for us, that's for foundational Black Americans? Huh? You ain't never seen it, have you? You ain't never seen nobody get on television and say, you know what, man? Reparations don't belong to us. Reparations belong to foundationals. You ain't never seen that? You see them on TV saying how they deserve it. You got motherfuckers who ain't stepped foot in America talking about, man, we deserve everything the Black folks get. Now you notice they don't ever say they deserve what the dominant society gets. They don't never say that. They don't ever say that they deserve money or tangibles from other groups. It's always our shit that they want. You ain't never seen them saying, hey man, we entitled to get what the W's get. You ain't never seen that. They always quick to say they want what we got or they're entitled to it. They try to always impute themselves in our things. And then you have the Black Caucus that literally fights for them. The Black Caucus is out there also facilitating and buffering our policies for other groups. Happens all the time. They don't even fight for us. You know what I mean? And how do you know these politicians are bullshit? And how do you know the political system does not work for Black people and why we got to take to the streets? Like I was talking about earlier, because Black Americans have more politicians than all these other groups, but all these other groups get most shit done. Think about that. Everybody used to say, man, we need political representation. We need a seat at the table. Oh shit, there's all types of seats at the table. It's just those seats ain't being occupied by no certifieds, by a bunch of counterfeits. Counterfeits who fight for everybody except for Black people. The Black Caucus has done more for minorities and POCs than they've ever done for Black people, proudly. And when you call them out on it, they make excuses, because you know that's what they always do. So this lets you know, you got groups with 6, 7, 8 politicians outdoing Black folks who got hundreds of politicians. So that's why Black folks take it to the street, as we were referencing earlier. And they still get more accomplished. You see it all the time. So we have 100, they got 10, and they 10 goes further. Ain't that funny? We are the only people in the world who use the term POC and actually mean it. They'll say POC and minority, but they're only saying that shit is a hustle. Trust me. 99.9% of motherfuckers who say POC are only using it to weaponize their own benefits against Black people. Black folks are the only motherfuckers who say POC and minority and actually think it's real. It's like the only motherfucker who believes in Santa Claus. All the fucking parents is saying, man, yeah, Santa Claus, yeah, he's coming, just so the kids believe it. Black folks is like the kid who still thinks the motherfucker's about to come down the chimney and shit. The last to know. The last motherfucker to know. They say minority all the time. I'm telling you, every single time you hear someone say minority or POC, they saying that shit to hustle us. They don't mean that shit. The motherfucker who still ain't got the joke. Joke's on them. And that seems to be the theme with a lot of these Sambos, a lot of these counterfeits. But another thing you always see them come out and try to undermine us too. When they're not busy trying to take our shit, they'll come out and try to undermine us. And that's how you know they're not real. That's how you know they ain't really down. Think about it. 1 minute when they're trying to take our shit, it's solidarity. We stand with Black folks. We need to stop all this brutality that happens to Black people. And then the next minute it's, well, why ain't anybody talking about the oppression that happens to us? Why don't anybody talk about what's going on in our community? Y'all seen that shit. Y'all notice every single time a Black person gets harmed and it makes national media, you always hear a story about another group that got harmed. And that other group is basically saying, why we gotta talk about Black folks? Why is that making the news? Why we gotta talk about Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland? Why we gotta talk about Korean Gaines? Let's talk about all these people in my community. We oppressed too. So 1 minute it's they stand with our oppression. And then the next minute is, fuck y'all oppression, what about us? And notice, whenever they have a what about us, they only come to Black people. Because they'll never go to the dominant society and say y'all oppress us. Y'all notice that? They don't never take their grievances out with the dominant society. You know why? Because they ain't trying to upset massa. I mean, think about it. They come to us and say, what about our community and all the things that happen to us? Like, we gonna do something about it. Take that shit right on down there to the W's. Go tell them. Oh, you're not gonna, because half y'all want to be the W's and the majority of y'all are scared of the W's. So therefore, they don't say shit. Once again, it goes back to jealousy. They know that if something happens, we handle it. We control our own destiny. Black folks will take to the street or we'll handle it by any means necessary. That is a famous quote by one of our foundational Black American heroes, our ancestors, Brother Malcolm. They don't have that. They don't have that, and they're jealous. They're jealous deep down inside that, damn, Black Americans, man, People oppress them and they don't take it. People oppress black Americans and black Americans get pissed off and go do something about it. We just basically complain and go home. And that's jealousy. That's where the jealousy breeds. Y'all remember when our brother Dante Wright was harmed up there in Minneapolis? Right afterwards, there was a young boy named Adam Toledo. And they try to slide his story in with ours. They was talking about, well, look at both of these. It happens to the black and the brown. And I want y'all to notice, we stood up, we protested, we marched, we tried to get charges for our brother. That story with that young man went away in a week. You know why? It's because we are from a community that handles business, don't let shit slide, and will ride for our own. And they're from a community that'll let anything slide if the dominant society tells them to. Big difference. We get shit done, they don't. That's why they gotta piggyback and attach themselves to everything we do. To quote Dr. Claude Anderson one more time, they swing on the coattails of our struggle. But here's a news bulletin. You can swing on the coattails of our struggle, you can latch, you can leech, you can do whatever the fuck you wanna do. But you're gonna keep on falling flat on your face because we know one thing. There's no black and brown coalition, minority coalition, POC coalition, brotherhood coalition, none of that shit. The only thing that exists are foundational black Americans, certified black society. And when the dust settles and the smoke clears, we the only ones standing. And these other motherfuckers can't exist in our presence. And they damn mad too. Because for the last about 5 years, we done put out a motherfucking list. And we've been going around Xing out any motherfucker who got some type of hustle con or they used to pulling bullshit. This new era has arrived and these motherfuckers is shook. We done found the fake Democrat, we done found the fake minorities, POCs, all that shit. We done found them, round all the motherfuckers up, exposed them, ran them off the fucking block. And now it's all about us, we focus on us, and we get into the money. And if anybody tries to come and take that from us, it ain't like yesterday. No. Yesterday you could pull that shit on the Black Caucus and all them motherfuckers, and you might have got away with it. You might have. But now, we see them, we spot them, we expose them, and we do what we do best. Regulate, because we some motherfucking race regulators. Don't get your name put on that list. Know that. But yo, this has been another episode of the Black AlphaCast. I appreciate y'all spending time with me. Take care of yourself. Hey, I got a Twitter space coming. We probably about to do that in about an hour. So I hope I see all y'all there and hit me up so y'all can speak, man. I want to talk to y'all. All this is cool and podcasts and all that shit is good, but ain't nothing better than engaging because you know I love direct, straight up with my people, certified black society, be one family. But yo, before we go, let me say this one more thing. The black and brown NOalition, the minority NOalition, the POC NOalition, they have officially been placed on the we see your ass list. And if you run around here all day long trying to pump them fake terminologies, fake words, fake unity, and you run with the liberals and they try to slide that shit off on foundational black Americans, yesterday's black American ain't today's black American. Because once we done put the B1 in effect, once we done put the FBA in effect, and once we done put the CBS Certified Black Society in effect, everything done changed. And now we got the goddamn ball and it's in our court. And all they can do is deal with it all the way around. Y'all stay safe, stay B1, and I'll catch you on the other side. Black Alpha 6, black is beautiful and beautiful is black.